One Zambia, One Nation, and thanks for joining us on Zanis News. To present, my name is Juliet Mtele. Top stories in the news tonight. Over 400 million kwacha earmarked for Lusaka Township Road rehab. 400 pupils share one classroom block. Youths concerned about increased climate change. The news in detail. Vice President Mutalina Lumango says government is committed to ensuring that challenges encountered by those in the transport sector are addressed. Zanis reports that Ms. Lumango said logistics and transport plays a major role in driving the country's socio-economic development. The Vice President said this in a speech read on her behalf by Southern Province Minister Cornelius Mwitwa during the official opening of the Zambia Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport Annual General Conference in Livingstone. And speaking earlier, Logistics and Transport Institute President, retired Brigadier General Fred Mwala, said there is need for government to address the existing low wages for workers in the transport sector.
Logistics and transport play a major facilitatory role in socio-economic development, thereby making the participants to this conference key to our aspirations of reaching a prosperous middle-income country by the year 2030. The theme for this year's conference is Africa Continental Free Trade Area, Opportunities and Threats for the Logistics and Transport Industry in Zambia. This theme was carefully chosen and could not have come at a better time. And this meeting is also taking place at the right time. And I'm glad to note the challenges that have been highlighted by members of the Institute, bringing them to the attention of government for onward consideration and action by your government.
Guest of honors, we have a complaint from our members who are transport officers in government that their grade and salary scale is low given the amount of fuel resources and vehicles that they manage. Our appeal is that government may look into this issue in order to ensure that our members who are professionally qualified and members of the Institute are employed as such.
Over 400 million kwacha has been earmarked for the ongoing rehabilitation of township roads in the capital city, Lusaka, under the Rural Development Fund. The Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development Permanent Secretary for Administration, Mambo Hamaundu, says some of the road works are nearing completion. Jen Simalumba now reports.
Over 400 million kwacha has been earmarked for the rehabilitation and upgrade of township roads in Lusaka using the Rural Development Fund. The road rehabilitation works, which commenced 3 months ago, are being implemented by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Under Lot 1, over 200 million kwacha is being spent on selected roads such as Makishi, Tokyo Way, and New Kasama, while under Lot 2, about 180 million kwacha will be spent on Manda Road, Chandwem Sonda, and Twikatana Zengalume roads.
So far, the progress is good. Here where we are is one of the roads, which is Manda Road. Manda Road, the works are 70% completed, and we've got about 80% remaining.
Local Government and Rural Development Permanent Secretary for Administration, Mambo Hamaundu, noted that the rehabilitation works on all township roads in Lusaka have advanced.
I think a lot of progress is being made. If you do recall, there's a road called the Manda Road behind Amanita going to FRA. The road was in quite a bad state, and we want to ensure that there's also enough space for walkways So we are taking care of the aspects which normally are demanded for in terms of what is referred to as a modern road.
The rehabilitation of roads has excited Lusaka motorists and residents.
Paponsi pamangala manzi madamu so tumakangiwa kupita bwino, but since government yatumangirako road and mwamene onekera ili standard.
Yeah, it's very good because the road was very bad. We were driving very slowly, some of the places deep, up like that.
However, the slow pace of construction works along Makishi Road has not pleased the business community around the area.
Inenda running a business hapa. So takwa business almost now 3 months. Takwa panto abantu steering abantu wale pita mu road. Abantu pera business.
And then this is the economical road. So you do fast and then you gain. So time ya enda maningi.
Mr. Hamaundu has assured the community that the slowed works will be addressed.
There are some works that need to be done in collaboration with people from water and sewerage, ZESCO and other utilities to just reroute the pipes there. So that has caused a bit of a delay.
Jane Simalumba Zanis in Lusaka.
We now move to the northwestern part of the country. Over 2 million kwacha of Constituency Development Fund, CDF, empowerment funds has been dispersed to various cooperatives and individuals in Ikelenge district. Ikelenge Member of Parliament Elijah Mchima says President Hakainde Hichilema's administration is committed to ensuring that vulnerable communities are empowered with resources to address high poverty levels countrywide. Victor Mwila has the details.
Over 2 million kwacha has been dispersed to various cooperatives and individuals by Ikelenge Town Council in Northwestern Province. This is under the empowerment program of the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, meant to alleviate poverty and increase household income. Beneficiaries of the program have been drawn from a cross-section of Ikelenge, without leaving those on the fringes of the district.
We are grateful that there is no discrimination in the disbursement of these funds, and we thank the President for this.
It can help us to develop ourselves in terms of other things. In short, we really to appreciate that. We appreciate to the owner and to the council itself without leaving anyone behind. We appreciate to God.
Even us women have not been left behind in this empowerment program. We commend the President for the CDF program.
Area Member of Parliament Elijah Mchima has dispersed the empowerment funds.
The President should be commended for championing the decentralization which has been on the table for a long time. He's doing a commendable issue. And look at what happened today. People have been complaining grants, loans. Today, we are on the road now with these things. What we need to do is to see that the people utilize these monies the way it has been planned for. Zambia is doing very well under the leadership of our President.
More local people are expected to receive loans and grants for the 2023 CDF allocation yet to be dispersed. Victor Mwila for Zanis in Ikelenge, Northwestern Province.
Thank you, Victor, for that report. Still in Northwestern Province, Mwinlunga Constituency Member of Parliament Newton Samakai has cautioned beneficiaries of the CDF loans against misusing the funds. Mr. Samakai notes that the misuse of funds will affect CDF's objective of delivering socio-economic development. The lawmaker said this when he disbursed loans worth 2.9 million kwacha to 23 individuals, youth groups and cooperatives. Amos Kawisha has the details.
These are members of various cooperatives, women, youth groups and individuals in Mwinlunga constituency. Each individual and groups is getting between 30,000 and 150,000 CDF funds for various business ventures. Area Member of Parliament Newton Samaka is on hand to hand over the funds.
Financial literacy was offered. You have been trained on how to use this money to ensure that there is prudence in the application of these resources to your project. So make us proud. That is what we can ask of you, that you are using this money prudently, you are putting it to good use, and it must uplift your living standards to take you to another level.
Mwinilunga Town Council Chairperson Jonathan Chinyimba witnesses the handover of the empowerment funds.
Those of you that are receiving these monies should use the money prudently. It is the revolving funds. Use the money, pay back the loan to the local authority so that your colleagues will also have access to the same.
Today the council is a hive of activity. We are witnessing the commissioning of desks, the 3,000 desks that we've procured this year. And also we are commissioning the handover of the loans to the beneficiaries.
Beneficiaries pledge to put the funds to good use.
This fund will be put into use in a way that we are going to establish a bakery and a confectionery.
And I'm so grateful for it. And I can assure you that I'll put this money to good use. It will help me and I'll employ some people.
The MP also used the occasion to donate over 60 desks, which are a sample of the 3,000 desks worth being made using CDF. I'm Oscar Wisho reporting for Zanis in Mwinilunga District, Northwestern Province.
We now take you to Luapula Province. Authorities in Mwansabombwe have declared that the district has received a fair share of development. In the past 2 years, the UPND has been in government. Mwansabombwe District Commissioner Rosemary Muiche says the district has benefited the nationwide recruitment of over 30,000 teachers. Lois Changwe gives us the details.
Mwansabombwe, like any other district, is a beneficiary of various developmental projects. For the past 2 years, the UPND has been in government. Mwansabombwe District Commissioner Rosemary Muiche highlights some of the notable achievements scored in various sectors in the district.
The CDF that was introduced, a lot of desks have been manufactured and distributed to some schools. Through the CDF, we have constructed a lot of schools here in Mwansabombwe. In the means of health again, we have other health posts that have been constructed. We have one health post which is under construction at Sesa. We are about to procure an ambulance for the district, Mwansabombwe district, through CDF.
What the UPND government has achieved so far is also visible to members of the community.
We started witnessing great things. To mention among them, it is youth empowerment. People are getting loans, people are getting empowerment, and as I'm speaking myself, I'm one of the beneficiaries of this what we call CDF.
The business community has also benefited from various empowerment programs.
I would like to appreciate the way government is running the market, especially the local council. In the past, we used to see a lot of cadres in the market, which is not happening now. We are not seeing any cadres. The market is running smoothly. And when it comes to marketeers empowerment, we are seeing everyone receiving.
These unprecedented developments scored within 2 years, the district will never be the same in the next 3 years. Lewis Changwe, Zanis, Mwansabombwe, Luapula Province.
We now take you to Eastern Province. Schools in rural areas are still facing serious challenges of adequate classroom accommodation. Mundanji Community School in Kasenengwa District only has one classroom block, catering for over 400 pupils. However, the Expanded Constituency Development Fund, CDF, a 1x3 classroom block is under construction to help address the classroom shortage. Here are the details.
This is Mdanji Community School of Kasenengwa District, which runs from early childhood education ECE to grade 7. The school only has one classroom block, which is also in a deplorable state, against the enrollment of 408 pupils, which has affected the effective teaching and learning at the institution. However, the situation is soon expected to change as a 1x3 classroom block is being constructed using the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, at a cost of over 680,000 kwacha. District Commissioner Rachel Piri visited the school to check on the works.
Introduction of free education
by His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, President of Zambia, has increased the number of learners in schools. So we are constructing new classroom blocks using CDF funds. So far so good. I'm happy with the works.
The development has excited school authorities.
This school is running from BCE to grade 7. We have 408 pupils. We have 200 girls and 208 boys. We only had one classroom block. We are thankful to the government for a 1x3 classroom block.
The district commissioner also inspected various projects that are currently being constructed using CDF. Mutinta Mwemba reporting for Zanis in Kasenengwa District, Eastern Province.
Solwezi Municipal Council has handed over 5 projects worth 1.1 million kwacha built using the Ward Development Fund from the locally generated funds to the Ministry of Education. The projects include 1x2 classroom block at St. Charles Special School and staff houses at Kamatete and Sangangombe primary schools. Here is a report by Mwape Mwesa.
St. Charles Special School in Solwezi District has not been spared from inadequate classroom space that has hit other schools in the district. Pupils from different grades were made to share one classroom, but the local authority has come to the aid of the school.
Completion of this block will help in addressing the inadequate classroom to accommodate pupils. I am aware that due to the inadequate number of classrooms, many children in society that have hearing impairment have been shunning school, thereby contradicting the call for universal access to education for all.
The school has 119 pupils who are visually impaired. We have children who are able to hear. These are 174.
Staff accommodation is another problem facing most schools, especially in rural areas. The Solwezi Municipal Council has built and rehabilitated staff houses at Kamatete and Sandangombe primary schools.
Ward Development Fund is locally generated revenue which is annually budgeted for and allocated for each councillor to implement projects according to priority needs of the community members in their wards. Thus, in the 2022 budget, 9 million kwacha was reserved, translating into 750,000 kwacha per ward.
We are very happy as teachers. Now we are motivated.
Mwape Mwesa for Zanis News in Solwezi District.
And from the central part of the country, construction of a health post at a cost of 284,000 kwacha in Kaputi Ward in Chisamba constituency has been completed. Kaputi Ward Councillor Fred Mwape says the health facility constructed using the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, will help address the health needs of people who had to walk over 40 kilometers to access the nearest health facility. And residents of Chisamba have since commended government for commencing re-graveling works of township roads at a cost of 4.3 million kwacha, financed by the Constituency Development Fund. Details in this report.
The construction of a health post, a staff house, and VIP toilets has been completed in Kaputi Ward in Chisamba constituency. The construction of this health facility, which was started by the community in 2014, stalled due to lack of funds. But government allocated 284,000 kwacha, Constituency Development Fund, towards its completion.
There will be money from the government under CDF, which was 284,000 kwacha. It consists of one staff house, which is a 3-bedroom house, and 2 VIP toilets. Then we have a simple labor inside there. We have a waiting room.
Today, it is completed and ready for operations. The residents of Kaputi Ward, who had to cover distances of over 9 kilometers to access the nearest health facility, are grateful to government for the construction of the health posts.
Chifukwa tenzo taking 8 to 9 kilometers kwenda kuchipembi. Makamaka bazimai bevenze vuto ikulu. Sicho cheka komanda bana ba school.
So, but we had the difficulties to finish this training due to the finance problem.
In the Central Business District of Chisamba, government is rehabilitating township roads, some of which become impassable in the rainy season.
Takwenda matipa, na kuchula, mamoto na parking kuma offices. Lero samba kuyenda kuchula.
Road no icons, shemane wambira, utilize cha continuous sile. Tenzo vutika kwenda kuvula sapato ndepatipita mai mumanzi. So shemane wayambira ipitilire she.
Shupekile Nkonika for Zanis in Chisamba.
We now move to Northern Province. Lunte Town Council has completed delivering 227 desks for schools in the district procured at a cost of 300,000 kwacha. This follows the delivery of the last consignment of 89 desks to the District Education Board Secretary Deb's office procured using the 2022 Constituency Development Fund. Sylvia Zulu gives us more in the following report.
Pupils in many schools in Lunte district were over the years subjected to sitting on the floor during lessons due to lack of desks in schools. This will soon be a thing of the past as the local authority through the 2022 Constituency Development Fund, CDF, procured 227 desks amounting to over 300,000 kwacha. The supplier has since delivered the last consignment of the desks to the District Education Board, DEB's office.
Today, we are handing over the desks in which we engaged the contractor. The total amount of the desks are 227, which were costing 322,340. The first stock of these desks were 138.
Building officer at Lunte Deb's office, Matthews Mkuka, received the desks on behalf of the ministry.
We have got a problem with desks as a district because we have got a total shortfall of about 5,703. That is the shortage we have currently in all the schools which we have. Now we are so happy that we have received the 89 because at first we received the 138.
And Mkupakaoma Secondary School Deputy Head Teacher Sani Banda has thanked government and the local authority for the desks.
I want to thank the government of the day for having provided us with the desks which were provided under CDF. Before this time, we had a very big challenge such that some learners were sitting on the floor, others were sitting on the buckets, and then a few were sitting on desks.
Reporting for Zanis, Sylvia Zulu in Lunte District.
The construction of an ablution block at Kabwe's Katondo Primary School in Central Province, worth 360,000 kwacha, is set for completion before schools reopen for the third term. Kabwe District Commissioner Lennox Shimambwa says government is keen to provide better sanitary facilities to over 1,500 learners at the learning institution. Details in this report.
Provision of a good learning environment, which includes sanitation facilities, is top on government's agenda at Katondo Primary School in Kabwe. Construction of an ablution block for both girls and boys is set for completion before schools reopen.
Cost is about 356,000 kwacha. This was the completion. It was started the previous regime, then it was abandoned. Yeah, so we just picked it up. So by Friday of next week, it should be done. 8 rooms for the girls, including a shower, and 5 for the boys, including the rhino area and washer.
Kabwe District Commissioner Lennox Shimambwa inspected the works.
The project, for the longest time, it had stalled, but obviously has been energized by the new Dawn government to ensure we complete the school. I'm told the population of this school is around close to 2,000 or thereabout. And what a pleasure now that our children can be in a habitable environment like what you're seeing. The President wants to see sanitary facilities, ablution block, running water, and I think we owe it to our people that we ensure this is done.
The district commissioner adds that more CDF projects will be done in the district.
We were very clear. These CDF projects will be done by local contractors. So it gives us pleasure that we have a local contractor who is on schedule, and we are told by next week Friday this project should be handed over. So that quickly, by the time the schools resume, the children can be able to enjoy this facility. To our President for this CDF, 28.3 million at work, and there will be many, many more projects to come. So we thought we just appreciate the infrastructure here.
Kelvin Tembo for Zanis in Kabwe, Central Province.
Increased global greenhouse emissions have been pointed out as impacting negatively on climate change and affecting African countries. Youths in Rufunsa district have since called on developed countries responsible for the climate crisis affecting the planet to help reduce on greenhouse emissions, which are contributing to increased climate vulnerability. Take a look at this story by Lakson Makoza.
These are the youths of Rufunsa district clad in t-shirts branded with climate change awareness messages. As part of raising awareness on the effects and the impact of climate change, the youths used a carnival walk to raise their voices by displaying placards bearing climate change awareness messages. The goal of the youths of Rufunsa is for their voices to be heard and influence policymakers in implementing policies that aim to save the planet.
We have witnessed frequent occurrences of droughts, cold spells, floods and hot spells. We have witnessed the destruction of crops and infrastructure due to climate change. As these occurrences intensify, we expect devastating impacts on water, food and energy systems. We, the youth, children and women suffer the impacts of the climate crisis the most and bear the burden of this crisis. We call for action in time and we call for action now.
Community Technology Development Trust has welcomed the move taken by the youths to get involved and participate in the fight against climate change.
During this crisis that we are going through, it is the women, youth and children that are most affected by climate change. So we want to raise awareness in climate-related issues, how do communities adapt, but also how do they mitigate climate change. And also we want to ensure that our voices, especially those of the youth and the women who are most impacted by climate change, are represented in decision-making processes at national level but also at the global level.
The harsh reality of climate change can no longer be ignored as its effects is being felt mostly by the youths and women.
Rufunsa and Rufunsa district were also recognizing the dangers or the effects of climate change. And really, climate change, it cannot be ignored. Climate change is real.
Their voices deserve to be heard as they have a role to play in shaping a better future for all. Reporting for Zanis, I'm Lakson Makoja.
Helen Walia reports that the Zambian government is in the process of formulating the National Adaptation Plan with the objective of building the country's resilience to the impacts of climate change. The formulation of the National Adaptation Plan is expected to respond to the effects of climate change threatening good food security.
The adverse effects of climate change will continue to affect the environment and people unless governments take action. The Zambian government is already taking steps as it spearheads the process of formulating the National Adaptation Plan with the objective of building the country's resilience to the impacts of climate change. Northern Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Lewis Mwape officially opened the National Adaptation Plan validation meeting with participants drawn from Muchinga, Luapula and Northern provinces.
If we don't develop the resilient strategies, there is what you may call economic disruption. We hope that this team will do justice to ensure that the plan becomes a roadmap, a toolkit that will be used to respond to impact of climate change.
Ministry of Green Economy and Environment Principal Climate Change Officer Kasanda Bunda reaffirmed government's commitment to address issues surrounding climate change.
It shows that it's very much committed to addressing the issues of climate change, because we know that climate change and its impact, these are the things that we are seeing, the realities that we're living with. But the question is, how are we able to address them? And the National Adaptation Plan is now providing those long-term and medium to long-term strategies and priorities.
And Joseph Umbenji is Ministry of Green Economy and Environment, National Adaptation Planning Project Manager.
And then following this process, we are going to incorporate all your comments or your views and come up with a draft, which will be a third draft of the National Adaptation Plan. After we go done with all the validation in the provinces. And then we are going to organize a national validation.
Helen Bwalia for Zanis in Kasama, Northern Province.
And finally in the news, hundreds of people took time to pay their last respects and mourn Chief Mutipula of the Chishinga people of Chipili district in Wapula province, who died recently. President Hakainde Hichilema described the late traditional leader as being keen to bring development in his chiefdom. President Hichilema said this in a speech read on his behalf by Wapula Province Acting Deputy Permanent Secretary John Mwasha. Here are the details.
In a last pay of respect, Chief Mutipula of the Chishinga people of Chipili district in Wapula Province has been put to rest following his recent demise. Hundreds took time to mourn, honor, and bid farewell to the deceased traditional leader, born Wilfred Kabamba Chipenge, who was installed to the throne in the month of July 2011 and was a member of the 39 Wapula Council of Chiefs. And speaking during a funeral ceremony attended by many, Chief Nsamba of the Unga people, who is Wapula Chiefs Council Vice Chairperson, conveyed his deepest condolences from the traditional leadership.
That we join hands in mourning our black brother, father, and a chief. Thoughts and condolences go out to his family, the Mutipula chiefdom, Chipili district, and indeed the entire Wapula province. As we stand united in this time of mourning, let us also reflect on the vital importance of a well-defined and peaceful succession process. We honor the family tree and avoid potential succession disputes.
Government equally conveyed its condolences from President Hakainde Hichilema through Wapula Province Deputy Permanent Secretary John Mwasha.
Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, government, and indeed on my behalf, may I convey the heartfelt condolences to His Royal Highness and the Royal Establishment of Mutipula Chiefdom. Traditional leaders are extremely important in the administration of local governance, since they are major partners with the government in fostering development. And without traditional leaders, it becomes imperatively impossible for government to deliver its developmental agenda.
David Ndovi for Zanis in Wapula Province.
As we conclude Zanis News, we take a look at the stories that made headlines. Over 400 kwacha earmarked for Lusaka Township Road rehab. 400 pupils share one classroom block. Youths concerned about increased climate change. Thank you so much for staying with us. Remember, we are one Zambia, one nation. My name is Juliet Mtela saying bye-bye and God bless.